My friends, words have power. The words we speak shape our thoughts, our actions, and our destiny. Too often we fill our minds with doubt, fear, and negativity. But I want to tell you today there is a better way. If you want to see change in your life, you must change the words you speak. The truth is, what you repeat, you believe, and what you believe, you become. So I challenge you today, say this 100 times every day. Words have an extraordinary power, shaping the course of our lives in ways we often overlook. Every word we speak is like a seed planted in the soil of our minds, and over time, those seeds grow into the reality we experience. If we consistently speak words of doubt, fear, or limitation, we cultivate an environment where negativity thrives. But if we choose to speak words of hope, strength, and victory, we create a foundation for success, growth, and fulfillment. Throughout history, great thinkers, leaders, and visionaries have understood the significance of words. They recognized that spoken words are not merely sounds, but carriers of belief, intention, and direction. When a person continuously speaks words of discouragement, they begin to embody that discouragement. They convince themselves of their limitations and, without realizing it, construct invisible barriers that hold them back. On the other hand, those who declare strength, confidence, and purpose over their lives set themselves on a path where their mindset aligns with their goals. Science supports this truth. Studies in psychology and neuroscience reveal that words influence our brain's neural pathways. When we repeat certain words or phrases, our brain strengthens those thought patterns, making them more automatic. Negative self-talk reinforces doubt and insecurity, while positive affirmations build confidence and resilience. It's not simply about wishful thinking, it's about programming the mind to respond differently to challenges. If someone constantly says, "I am not good enough," their brain starts to seek evidence to support that belief. They remember failures more vividly, they hesitate in moments of decision, and they find reasons to validate their self-doubt. But if they instead declare, "I am capable, I am prepared, I am more than enough," their mind shifts its focus. They begin to notice opportunities, recall past victories, and approach obstacles with a different attitude. Children are a perfect example of how words shape perception. A child who hears encouraging words such as "you are smart," "you are loved," "you are strong," grows up with an internal dialogue of confidence. They approach life believing they can achieve great things because that belief has been spoken into them. Conversely, a child who constantly hears "you will never succeed," "you always fail," "you are not good enough," may struggle with self-worth not because they are incapable, but because they have absorbed limiting beliefs through the words spoken over them. Even in adulthood, the echoes of words spoken in childhood continue to shape self-perception and choices. Beyond self-talk, the words we use in daily conversations also carry weight. When we speak negatively about our circumstances, we reinforce our struggles. A person who constantly says, "life is unfair, nothing ever works out for me," unknowingly conditions their mind to expect disappointment. But when they shift their words to, "every challenge is an opportunity, I am learning and growing," they begin to see solutions where others see problems. Words frame our expectations, and our expectations influence our experiences. This principle extends to relationships as well. Words can build or destroy relationships based on how they are used. A kind word spoken at the right moment can heal wounds, restore trust, and deepen connections. A harsh or careless word, however, can create division, resentment, and pain. In friendships, marriages, and workplaces, the way we communicate shapes the quality of our relationship. Encouraging words inspire loyalty and motivation, while negative or critical words can erode even the strongest bonds. Another powerful aspect of words is their ability to influence emotions. People who frequently use words of gratitude and optimism tend to experience greater levels of joy and fulfillment. When we say, "I am thankful for this day," "I appreciate the people around me," our emotions align with that gratitude. But if we constantly complain and focus on what is wrong, our emotions reflect that negativity. Our words act as a thermostat, setting the tone for our emotional state. Even physical health is impacted by words. Studies have shown that stress, anxiety, and depression are often linked to negative self-talk and pessimistic language. People who speak words of peace and positivity experience lower stress levels and better overall health. The body responds to the mind, and the mind is influenced by words. Speaking words of encouragement, hope, and faith can contribute to emotional and physical well-being. When we look at the lives of successful individuals, we often find that they have mastered the power of words. They understand that speaking affirmations, declaring goals, and maintaining positive self-talk are not just motivational techniques. They are essential tools for success. They don't dwell on words of failure or impossibility. Instead, they speak words that align with their vision, reinforcing their belief in their own potential. The truth is, the words we use daily set the direction of our lives. Whether we realize it or not, we are always speaking something into existence. If we want to see change, we must start with the words we choose. We must guard our speech, ensuring that the words we repeat to ourselves and others are words that uplift, strengthen, and guide us toward the life we desire. Affirmations are more than just words. They are a powerful tool that can transform the way we think, act, and perceive ourselves. When we repeatedly declare positive and uplifting statements about ourselves, we begin to rewire our minds to embrace those truths. This is not simply about wishful thinking or empty repetition. It is about creating a mental framework that aligns with the success, confidence, and strength we seek. The mind is a fertile ground, and whatever we plant in it will grow. When we consistently affirm our strength, purpose, and potential, we nurture the kind of thinking that leads to real change. The human brain operates on patterns and reinforcement. The more we hear or say something, the more deeply it embeds itself in our subconscious. This is why people who constantly speak negatively about themselves find it difficult to break free from self-doubt. If someone tells themselves every day, "I am not good enough," their mind accepts that as reality, and they begin to live according to that belief. But when a person intentionally declares, "I am capable, I am strong, I am prepared for success," they begin to see evidence of those truths in their daily lives. Their confidence grows, their decision-making improves, and their ability to overcome obstacles strengthens. Affirmations serve as a reset button, allowing individuals to override negative programming and replace it with thoughts that empower them. Studies in psychology and neuroscience have shown that the brain does not distinguish between real experiences and imagined ones. This means that when we repeatedly affirm positive qualities about ourselves, our brain registers them as facts. Athletes, for example, use this technique to enhance performance. By visualizing success and affirming their abilities, they prime their minds and bodies for achievement. Similarly, individuals who affirm their confidence before a speech, a job interview, or a difficult conversation find themselves performing better because their minds have been conditioned for success. This process, known as neuroplasticity, allows the brain to adapt and rewire itself based on repeated experiences and thoughts. The power of affirmations is evident in the way people recover from failures and setbacks. Those who fill their minds with negative self-talk after a failure, telling themselves that they will never succeed, that they are incapable, or that they are not worthy, often struggle to rise again. But those who declare, "This setback is temporary, I am learning and growing, I will overcome this," find the strength to move forward. Their belief in themselves allows them to approach challenges with resilience instead of fear. Affirmations do not remove obstacles, but they give people the mindset needed to face them with courage. When someone speaks affirmations daily, their emotional state also begins to shift. Words influence emotions, and emotions influence actions. A person who constantly says, "I am happy, I am grateful, I am at peace," will naturally begin to feel those emotions more often. Their focus shifts from what is wrong to what is right. They begin to notice the good in their lives, and as a result, they experience greater joy and fulfillment. This is not because their circumstances change overnight, but because their perspective does. They become more aware of opportunities, blessings, and possibilities that they might have otherwise overlooked. People who practice daily affirmations often find that their interactions with others improve as well. When someone affirms their worth and strength, they carry themselves with greater confidence, which influences how they are perceived. They attract positivity because they radiate it. Their relationships become healthier because they no longer seek validation from others. They already affirm their value within themselves. This shift in self-perception allows them to engage with others from a place of confidence rather than insecurity. The effectiveness of affirmations is evident in both personal and professional growth. Those who declare success over their careers, who speak words of capability and vision, often find themselves advancing faster than those who dwell on doubt and fear. A business leader who tells themselves, I am innovative, I make great decisions, I am building something meaningful, approaches their work with greater enthusiasm and confidence. Their belief in their abilities leads to bold actions, and those actions lead to results. On the other hand, someone who constantly doubts themselves and speaks words of failure is more likely to hesitate, avoid risks, and miss opportunities. The way affirmations work is not mysterious. It is a simple principle of focus and reinforcement. What we repeatedly tell ourselves becomes the foundation of our beliefs, and our beliefs shape our actions. When we declare strength, we begin to act with strength. When we affirm purpose, we start seeking out purpose-driven actions. The words we speak to ourselves daily are not just sounds. They are instructions to our subconscious, guiding us toward the person we want to become. Faith and science have long been viewed as separate realms, but when it comes to the power of words, they align in an undeniable way. The ancient wisdom found in spiritual teachings emphasizes that words carry creative power, shaping reality and influencing outcomes. Modern science, through the study of psychology and neuroscience, confirms this truth by showing that words have the ability to rewire the brain, influence emotions, and affect physical health. This remarkable intersection of faith and science reveals that affirmations are not just hopeful statements, but powerful tools that shape the way people think, feel, and ultimately live their lives. Spiritual teachings have always emphasized the importance of the spoken word. Across various traditions, there is a recurring theme that what a person declares with their mouth has the ability to manifest in their life. This principle suggests that the words one speaks are not merely sounds but forces that set things into motion. People who consistently declare faith, strength, and victory over their lives often experience a shift in their circumstances, not because of magic, but because their mindset aligns with what they speak. They begin to act in ways that support those words, attracting opportunities and solutions that reinforce their declarations. And on the other hand, those who speak negatively about themselves often find their experiences mirroring their words, further confirming the power of verbal expression. Neuroscience supports this concept by demonstrating that repeated affirmations create new neural pathways in the brain. The human brain is highly adaptable, a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. When a person repeatedly says positive affirmations, their brain strengthens the neural connections associated with confidence, success, and optimism. Over time, these connections become the default patterns of thinking, making it easier to respond to challenges with resilience rather than fear. Studies have shown that people who engage in daily positive self-talk experience lower levels of stress and anxiety because their brain becomes conditioned to focus on solutions rather than problems. The way a person speaks to themselves literally shapes the structure of their brain, influencing their perception of reality. Psychology further reinforces this idea by showing how affirmations impact self-identity and behavior. People develop their self-concept based on the words they hear most often, whether from themselves or others. A child who is repeatedly told that they are intelligent and capable grows up believing in their abilities and is more likely to take on challenges with confidence. An adult who constantly tells themselves they are strong and resourceful will begin to embody those qualities in their daily life. This is not because the words themselves hold supernatural power, but because they guide the mind to focus on strengths rather than weaknesses. When people declare something often enough, they begin to internalize it as part of their identity, influencing the way they carry themselves, the choices they make, and the opportunities they pursue. The connection between words and emotions is another area where faith and science intersect. Many spiritual teachings encourage people to speak words of gratitude and praise, not only as an act of faith, but as a way to cultivate joy and peace. Psychological studies confirm that expressing gratitude through words leads to increased happiness and reduced stress. When people focus on positive affirmations, their brains release neurotransmitters such as dopamine and serotonin, which are responsible for feelings of happiness and well-being. This is why individuals who speak words of encouragement and hope often experience a noticeable shift in their mood. It is not merely a matter of pretending to be happy. Rather, it is a deliberate act of training the mind to recognize and amplify positive emotions. The physical body also responds to the power of words. Research in psychoneuroimmunology, the study of how thoughts and emotions influence the immune system, has shown that negative self-talk and chronic stress weaken the body's ability to fight disease. People who constantly speak words of defeat and despair often experience higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, which can lead to various health issues such as high blood pressure, fatigue, and weakened immunity. On the other hand, individuals who practice positive affirmations and speak words of hope and resilience have been found to recover from illness more quickly, experience lower stress levels, and maintain better overall health. This scientific evidence aligns with spiritual wisdom that teaches people to guard their words, as they have a direct impact on physical well-being. The power of words extends beyond individuals to influence entire communities and cultures. When a society embraces uplifting and empowering language, it fosters an environment of growth and progress. History has shown that great leaders who use words to inspire rather than divide have the ability to shape nations and movement. Their speeches and declarations ignite faith in people, mobilizing them toward action. Science supports this by demonstrating how collective affirmations, whether in teams, organizations, or societies, create a shared belief system that drives success. Whether in religious gatherings, motivational seminars, or community efforts, the repeated declaration of positive words has been a driving force behind transformation and achievement throughout history. People often underestimate the power of the words they speak daily, yet both faith and science agree that words are not passive. They are active agents of change. They influence thoughts, shape emotions, and determine behaviors. What a person declares repeatedly becomes embedded in their subconscious mind, influencing their daily actions and overall direction in life. Whether through faith-based principles or scientific research, the evidence is clear. Words have the power to build or destroy, to encourage or discourage, to elevate or diminish. Understanding this truth allows individuals to be intentional with their words, knowing that what they speak consistently is shaping their future in ways they may not yet fully realize.